Hi, let me show you what we can currently do on lib.reviews. As the site notes, it's intended to be a site to review absolutely anything in any language. And in fact, we can already start doing that. At this point, in order to create an account, you need an invite code. So just follow the instructions on the front page if you want to get involved. Now, once you're logged in, you can already create new reviews. At this point, since we do not have a database of everything, but we want to be able to review everything or anything, we use the web as our database. So in order to review a book, we would use, for example, an Amazon page for that book, or the book's official website, or any other URL that uniquely identifies it. Then we give a title, a headline to our review, and we write the text, which can use a formatting language called Markdown. So you can look at the cheat sheet here if you've never used Markdown before, and you can also turn on preview either live or on demand to see what the text looks like once you've published it. To show you an existing review, for example, like here's a restaurant review, I can switch into edit mode and just change it even after I've published it as I see fit, change my rating if I want to, for example. One of the interesting features of lib.reviews from the start, you'll note that it says absolutely anything in any language, and that's really important to me. The support for languages is truly a first-class citizen in the software. So for example, if I go to a particular review and change the language, it'll now show me that this review is written in English. If I use the German version and then start editing it, I can actually translate it. And if I go back to the front page, you'll notice that quite a bit of content has been translated. For example, this blog post is in German, this title of the book is in German, and even this entire review is in German, even though it also exists in English. I could, of course, do it the other way around as well, write in German and then add an English translation later. So I can change the language in order to translate content or create content in a new language. We'll add language support as we have complete translations of the user interface. So if you want to get involved, add support for your language, you can already do that, and I'll help you out to get started on that. Now, one other feature that is sort of implicitly used on the front page is the notion of teams. This development diary, in fact, is associated with a team called the developer team. So if I look at the permanent link for this blog post, it shows me that it's part of a team blog called developers. And then I go to the team page, and it shows me that there is, in fact, such a thing as a developer team that I am a member of. I can edit the metadata for this team, the rules, the description, and so on. And I can also write new blog posts from this page. Now, this notion of teams is very important, I think, for the long run, because it enables us to envision things like teams that just focus on, say, finding the best vegetarian restaurants, or finding the best free software for a specific task, or NGOs could use teams to review things to be compliant with environmental standards or labor standards. So there's lots of possibilities in which teams could be used specifically to review things. For now, we only have the very bare bones functionality. You can't even join teams yet, but we are making this a pretty high priority to get that functionality to the point where it can be useful. The other stuff that's going to come soon is just better ways to browse and explore reviews, because right now we just have this feed, as well as the user feed of just the user's reviews, and that's it. There's a lot more to do here. There's better search tools, better browse tools, and so on. Now, of course, an interesting question is, how do you describe the things that are being reviewed? And at this point in time, we have very, very basic infrastructure for that in place. But for now, you can only give them labels. So you see these little labels here. These were not added when I wrote the review, but later through this interface here. So if I click this add information link, it shows me this page where I can, for now, just edit the label, give the restaurant a name that identifies it. And in future, that will be the page where you'll also be able to add things like business hours or other metadata for businesses. Or for whatever thing you're reviewing, like a book, you might want to add the authorship information and so on. But I want to think about how I can interface this and connect this with existing open repositories that are already doing a lot of this work, like Wikidata for things like books. It's very, very good as a resource already, or OpenStreetMap for points of interest and so on. So let's not duplicate the work that other communities are already doing, but the place where you will add and find this information is here. So that's basically it in terms of functionality that we have right now. I want to give a quick shout out to a tool that I built previously to lib.reviews, and which is very closely related, and it's Free Your Stuff. And Free Your Stuff is a tool, it's a Chrome extension that lets you go to a website like IMDb, for example, and export your reviews. So one of the challenges with building a new review site is that many people have invested huge amounts of time in existing sites that don't typically let you download your content because they don't want you to have access to your own content, since that's how they make money. But there's no reason why we can't give users access to content that they've created, and that's what we've done with this extension that lets you just go to a site, and then once you fire this button, it actually goes and fetches the data and lets you download it and publish it to the freeyourstuff.cc repository. At this point, there's no link between the two projects, so there's no like one-click process for importing reviews. Indeed, in order to make that possible, we also have to add headlines to a lot of these reviews, since many sites don't require headlines. lib.reviews does. I think they're important as a way to summarize a review. So it's not just a matter of getting the data out, it's also a matter of bringing it into a form that makes sense for lib.reviews. So there's quite a bit of work to be done there, but the beginnings of that work are there, and you're also more than welcome, of course, to help with that process. In general, please do check out the many ways to get involved, and you can start writing reviews today as long as you're willing to wait for new functionality to arrive. Pretty basic functionality in some cases like search, but it's going to take a while to build all of that. And of course, if you're technically minded, please do get involved on the development side of things. This is an open project in every sense of the word. There's no profit motive behind it. I hope that if it does take off, we can maybe give it a non-profit in the Wikimedia style of things to support it. For now, it's just me building it, but that is very, very clearly the intent. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you on the site.